Hi Libra, welcome to your general Tarotscope for the first half of November, and this is ending on the 14th when we have a full moon in your 8th house in the sign of Taurus, and the 8th house deals with issues surrounding death, sex, and other people's money. So there might be, if you've had any kind of inheritance issues, that might be kind of coming to a head or to an end. Or you might find out about some inheritance issues at this time. It could be that if you have a spouse, they get a raise, or they are going to have some other source of income themselves. It could be that, you are finding out or having a revelation about something related to the occult. Maybe you have an insight about metaphysics. And so it can be a very kind of psychic time for you, because the 8th house does deal with kind of communication with the dead. So that's always a possibility if you're so inclined in that direction. The other transits, this is just a brief overview before I lay out the cards. I just wanted to tell you about a few things, because actually in the week before that, we're going to have Mars go into Aquarius around the 8th or the 9th. Okay, for you, this is actually your 5th house of romance. So this could be a time when you're really driven to find a love partner. And, Libra is naturally like that anyhow. So that might be something that is very much what you want to pursue. And also, it might also indicate a real activity in that area, because, Mars brings activity. So it might be an emphasis of you kind of dating around. And also, the 5th house is creativity. So you might be very active that way. And you're ruled by Venus. So that definitely makes sense. And there's also going to be Venus, your ruler, going into Capricorn, and that is happening on the 11th, on 11/11. So that is a sign prior to Aquarius, and that's going to be your 4th house of home and family. So I want to say this because Mars is going to be in that house until it goes into the 5th house around the 2nd week of the month. So that means Mars is going to be stirring things up in your home and family sector for a whole week in the first week of November. So you have to watch for any aggression within your family of origin, any kind of disputes. And again, with inheritance matters looming for some people, there may be that, both of those things happening simultaneously. But for other people, it could be just that you're renovating your home. I mean, that's always a possibility. But so Venus goes into that house on the 11th, and that smooths things over if there's been any kind of controversy or just contention. Venus can make things all right, and Venus also can bring money with her. So you might profit from a house or real estate or something along the lines of family of origin. Mercury goes into Sagittarius the very next day on the 12th of November, and this will be in your 3rd house of communication, including the internet. And so what's very interesting about that is that recently you have had Venus in that house. So some of you may have met somebody on the internet, and maybe you somehow cut off contact and now you're back with them. And that would be more like of a romantic variety, but that was something in the past. Now we're talking about more of a situation where you're just very chatty, you're very wanting to communicate, wanting to move around in your local area quite frequently. You may be like, if you are doing anything with home, where you're kind of like selling a home or buying a home, then you might be kind of scoping out the neighborhood and seeing what's going on with it, researching. So yeah, you have a very active month actually. Oh, wow. Wow, 3 major arcanas in a row. And I do apologize for that outside noise. I was waiting around to see if they were going to stop, and no. Right as soon as I began, that's when I heard it. So I hope it's not too... This is, I can draw this back, but I'm not sure it's going to really, yeah, it probably will. Okay, so the overall energy is the moon card. Now, I just talked about that full moon, but the moon card in general can indicate that there's something that is not being revealed and that you may reveal about a situation. And as I had said, sometimes full moons bring that sort of issue to light, but it can just be deception in any area. Sometimes the moon card can just indicate having a very fertile mind, and this is particularly beneficial for artists, or if you're doing something that is a spiritual practice, then the moon card can indicate heightened intuition. But sometimes there's deception going on, so this is at the center of this time period. So it helps to be aware of that and kind of think in your life if there's anything that you felt has been kept hidden from you. Obviously, this can be in any area of your life. This could even be on the work front. If you feel like you're not being told the truth about something and people are not being straight with you. Let me just keep going. So we have the Fool card in the past position. And so this is like an energy of kind of almost wandering into, a new reality. I shouldn't say wandering, because the Fool does set out. So they have the intention. They're not just completely unconscious of what they're doing, but they just may not have a particular destination in mind. They just know that they want to be exploring, and they are stepping out in faith. Now, this could be the situation, definitely, of somebody who is an artist, maybe quitting their old job and doing something on their own because they decided that they wanted to honor that part of their life, and maybe they had no guarantee that it was going to work out. For those people, the High Priestess kind of says that you're going to be guided by your intuition, and that's going to be the most important thing to you, how you feel, not how the world, tells you you should act in certain circumstances, because there are a lot of limiting beliefs out there, and they still get promoted as fact, and they're not facts. And some people, when you think about people, if you know any personally, who are very self-actualized, and I think about that when I see people who really seem to just be constantly aligned, and they take risks and they do things, and they don't always seem like sure bets, but they always succeed in whatever they do, and it's because they probably, I think all of them have a very high level of intuition, so they instinctively know exactly what's best for them. The High Priestess is about connecting to your higher self so that you're able to kind of really, steer yourself in the right direction, because the Moon card can indicate confusion sometimes, or deception, and other people can be deceptive. Somebody tells you I've got this wonderful job for you, and you quit your old job, and then you find out that this new thing isn't really happening. And so they played it up, and it was kind of like fool's gold. In relationships, the moon card actually connects to Cancer. So if there's a Cancer person in your life, you may have gone into that situation and you weren't really sure what to expect. And I do feel that some people are having to make a choice about something because we have the Two of Swords, but I'll get to that. I'm going to keep going. The higher message is the Ten of Cups. You have some really interesting cards because the Ten of Cups is about celebration. You can see these arms are entwined, so it is connected to marriage. But it's celebrating family, happiness, and as a higher message card, I think that it's kind of like saying, whatever it is that you decide to do, always keep your eyes on the prize of like, what is the ultimate goal for yourself? Because sometimes, it's funny, sometimes people, they're so focused on the romance that they don't think how it's going to affect their family as a whole, especially if they have children, and, is everything in alignment in that sense? But this says that I think that, some of you have this potential. Now, it's interesting. This is also a card that could be talking about a Cancer person because it's a water sign with being the cups and everything. And it's very interesting because the thing that crosses you, and I told you had that family influence with Venus coming into your 4th house. So there might be something celebrating. Maybe you're going to go to a wedding and someone that you eventually marry will be at that wedding. But it could be that the wedding is the catalyst for you to find somebody that's, a potential partner, whether you get married or not. But the card that crosses you is the King of Swords, so I'm reading that as a reverse card. And that makes me wonder if maybe you were with somebody who was an air sign just like you. So that could be a Gemini individual, a Libra, or an Aquarius. If that's the case, this person was very emotionally abusive in the form of insulting you, and they were very cold. Okay, so that's where I see the contrast between this individual, the cups, the moon, the high priestess, the kind of the soulful level communications. Now, I just want to say that if you have met somebody who is a water sign person, that's not to suggest that everything is just going to be perfect, because, you still have a learning curve. You're an air sign, so you would have to be able to learn their language, which is a language of emotions, and you're coming from a place of logic. This king in the reverse position, even in the upright position, he may be all head but no heart. He may be like very intelligent and things like that, but he may not have the ability, the emotional intelligence to be able to deal with people in an effective way, especially in a romantic relationship where you have to convey a sense of affection for another person. So that kind of thing can be very, I don't know if you want to call it challenging, but that person may have left you in the cold. And he may have, and I'm saying he because it's a king, he may have been even the kind of person who doesn't seem to care, what he says. He may feel like, yeah, that's how I feel, and what, I'm just telling it like it is, and you're left feeling very hurt. So the advice is the Two of Swords. So we have, we even have in the outcome swords. So this is about being at loggerheads, having to decide. Having a blindfold, maybe being deceiving oneself, as this card suggests. You may have this person, this King of Swords, lingering in your life. And I just want to say, too, before anyone gets confused, is that if I say that this person is an air sign, I'm not saying that it has to be their sun sign. But they have that detached way of looking at things, and they really do think that everything has to be rational, logical, and they may be adverse to sharing their feelings. And I'm assuming that that means that they would have a prominent air sign. But I can't, obviously say for sure. But in any case, you're going to have to decide which route to go, because it sounds to me like you have a wonderful potential relationship. The only thing about it is there may be some lingering confusion around this person. It's right below the Moon card. So maybe this person, if it's a Cancer, if it's just some other water sign, it could be a Pisces or a Scorpio person, I suppose. But this person, they may have a lot going for them, but they may also have something they're not telling you. And so you may have kind of been very innocent in your, getting involved with this person. And sometimes I think that is the sign, when I see the Fool card there, where you kind of wandered into a situation like that, if it's an affair. Because sometimes with the Two of Swords, it can be that there's this dilemma of having to choose between two people and not knowing, which route to go. And of course, with Libra, you take in decision to an art form. So that's, that should be your card, What should I do? Because, you can see all sides of an issue. So it's very difficult for you to necessarily think one thing is better than the other. And the outcome is the King of Swords. So some of you may choose this person because you may feel like ultimately you're more like them than you're like the other person. That's always a possibility. But it also can simply mean that you become the kind of person who is able to really call it like it is, because the Knight of Swords doesn't mince words. So for some people, I do think that they might be consulting the legal eagles, lawyers or what have you. The King of Swords could be even a judge, but the Knight of Swords could be someone who's a lawyer. But I do think that that could be a facet of yourself, because the Knight of Swords is really direct, and Libra tends to be indirect. You tend to try to sugarcoat things because you don't want people to be offended or not like you. So you tend to kind of like be indirect even, and this can lead to mixed messages or confusion. And now I think for some reason you're going to be motivated to be direct about whatever's happening. If this is, I really see this as a personal relationship more than career, because there is this dilemma. Maybe some people are choosing between two types of careers or job offers. But I do, with this card, it really is about family and about marriage. So it makes me think that this is a romantic relationship. So anyway, Libra, I think I'm going to leave it there. I keep turning this on and off, and there's a lot of noise in the background. But I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great first half of November. Bye.